Well, howdy there, Scream Freaks. My own personal Scream Queen Mandy's been screaming all week about a new publication that pays tribute to the best of her kind. We're here to give you a quick lowdown on a high-quality piece of work.
You're a piece of work, Ted West, but I want to talk about a zine put out by my new friend Stacey Norman from the UK.
You said put out.
That I did, DW, but as bad as your butthead puns are, you're the kind of guy who gets girls who get horror. We can take a joke, even yours, and we can celebrate the sentiment that gives rise to the powerful protagonist known as the last girl.
This is a Howlin' public service announcement officially ignoring the verbal vexation of the term gives rise.
Alright, we're here to scream about the Scream Queen Zine, which sets out to prove that feminism and horror are not mutually exclusive.
Gotta admit, horror has its moments that aren't exactly flattering to the female kind.
But so does every genre, and we're here to look at the ladies who lead by example versus existing only for exploitation. Now let's look at the format of this zine. It's organized into categories that structure future issues we hope to see. We open with a spotlight on a featured film, American Mary.
And Stacey even scored interviews with Paula Lindbergh and Tristan Risk,
proving herself to be an interview aficionado by posing simple but telling questions like, who's your favorite Scream Queen? And how would you sum up American Mary in one sentence? The next segment kicks off a series on a subject that sometimes overshadows the value of our genre. Let's talk about sex, baby.
I thought you'd never ask. Part 1 of the female sexuality and horror series focuses on coming-of-age films.
Yes, that viciously vulnerable
and typically virginal
time in a girl's life as depicted in flicks like It Follows, Ginger Snaps, and the Stephen King classic Carrie.
Scream Queen writer Stacey makes some apt observations about horn dog boys
and juxtaposes literary language like titular character with simple turns of phrase like slut-shaming, truly skillful writing that doesn't present as pretentious.
As woefully wordy as you are, darling, you're spot on about the writing.
At the risk of adding more words, the next segment in this perfectly sectioned zine is a featured Scream Queen, and in issue number 1, it's none other than Elm Street's nightmare girl, Heather Langenkamp. Once again, Stacey's angle on a pivotal role is like a prism of awesome, and she reviews Heather's body of work with way more depth than IMDb.
And next we have something for the future fans whose opinions are just taking shape. In the Tween Scream section, we look at books,
which the zine writer notes are many people's first exposure to horror. In issue 1, she breaks down the first book that gave many of us goosebumps. Then, stepping outside a perfectly tempered template,
we get a bonus feature on the babe who slays them all, Buffy.
This groundbreaking show, which recently celebrated Buff 2.0, has been analyzed and romanticized as much as anything in pop culture history. But Stacey finds an angle that sings with her theme and will give hardcore fans something to think about.
One thing I'm always thinking about is another medium, comics.
Before Netflix debuted Sabrina the Teenage Witch, decades of readers were angling for the print version of this Archie's icon, and Stacey's review is full of savvy comments on story and art. The next fabulous feature is a compare and contrast of the eternal conundrum.
Original or remake? And this issue's debate is Last House on the Left. We'll leave it to you to pick a side of the aisle.
The final page is a parody-like punch of pop culture perfection as Stacey breaks down The Babysitter. All in all, writer and editor Stacey Norman packs a lot into a 30-page format that's independently produced and expertly written. If you want to read a scholarly zine produced by an outrageously informative, unapologetic fangirl, direct message her at Zine Scream on Twitter, go to technicolorteacup.bigcartel.com, or find Scream Queen Zine on Facebook.
See you later, Scream Freaks. Well, howdy there, Scream Freaks. Well, thank you kindly for watching, and help yourself to more servings of Screaming Sue by visiting our site at screamingsue.com. You can read our weekly updates, character bios, and interviews, catch up on past episodes, browse our store, and drool over the Howlin' Hottie of the Week. If you want to scream at us, just holler at screamingsoup@gmail.com, and don't forget to stalk us through social media, conveniently linked at the top of the site.